എന്നോടിപ്പോ ചോദിച്ചിട്ടൊരു കാര്യമില്ല. ബിന്ദു ചേച്ചിയുടെ അടുത്ത് കൂട്ടി ചോദിക്കും. അല്ല ബിന്ദു ചേച്ചി പറഞ്ഞു ചപ്പാത്തിൻ്റെ വെച്ചിട്ടുണ്ട്.
Namaste, Veena Didi. You're not audible. Now you can unmute yourself.
Do you hear me, Didi, now?
Yeah, now it's clear, Didi.
Okay, namaste. Namaste.
Minutes are there.
Yes, Didi. Namaste, Lakshmi Didi.
Namaste. Nice to
Namaste
see you.
to everyone. Lakshmi Didi. Namaste, everybody.
Namaste.
Everyone.
Namaste, Dimahi.
Namaste, Dimahi. I saw you. Before Veena Didi joined, Dimahi joined actually.
Dimahi is going to start program today, no? Dimahi?
Yes, Didi.
Yes. Very good.
Dimahi is from our Satyakama Samskara Varga.
Sri Krishna will be so very happy today. And because of Dimahi's prayer, maybe Didi will be able to talk better today. Yeah? Start, I think time now.
Oh, we can start. 1 minute is there. Just 1 minute is there. We can start.
1 minute.
1 minute.
Yeah.
We can start.
Instant. Namaste to everyone. Welcome to another great session, lecture from Lakshmi Didi. So we will start the program with Dimahi, Kumari Dimahi Pat. She will be chanting 3 Omkaras and Shanti Pat. Dimahi, over to you.
Oh. Tejasvinapatitamastu Avidvishamai. Om Shanti Shanti. Dhanyawada.
Dhanyavada Dimahi. That was very nice. I welcome you all. Namaste to everyone. Welcome you all to the session 17 of the lecture series by our Mananiya Dr. Lakshmi Kumari Didi. about the topic essence of Amrit Parivar in Bhagavad Gita. So Mananiya Dr. Lakshmi Kumari Didi needs no introduction. Didi was born in Kerala. She secured doctorate in botany from Madras University, completed postdoctoral research at Ukraine Academy of Sciences, USSR. Didi joined Vivekananda Kendra in 1981 as a whole-time worker and became its joint general secretary and later its working president. After the passing away of the founder president of Vivekananda Kendra, Mananiya Eknathji Ranade, was unanimously elected as the All India President of Vivekananda Kendra in the year 1984. Didi continued as its president till 1995, when she stepped down to devote more time to spiritual pursuits. To help Didi in this, Vivekananda Kendra formed a new trust, Vivekananda Kendra Vedic Vision Foundation, with Dr. Lakshmi Kumari Didi as its lifetime chairman. The foundation is presently functioning from Kodangalur, Thrissur district, Kerala. Dr. Lakshmi Kumari Didi has been a prolific writer as the editor of Vivekananda Kendra Patrika and Yuva Bharati from 1982 to 95, in addition to various other cultural and spiritual magazines in Malayalam and English. Her books, Vivekananda Charanangalil, has been widely acclaimed as an inspiring biographical sketch of Swami Vivekananda. Some of her articles have been compiled as books, Snake and Ladder, based on Bhagavad Gita, Sita Must Leave, devoted to women, Vande Mataram, patriotic ideas, and several others in Malayalam. Dr. Lakshmi Kumari Didi has been the recipient of many awards, the latest being Dharma Jyoti Puraskar by Sanatana Dharma Parishad, Calicut, and Vivekananda Vibhuti Award by Vivekananda Yoga Anusandhana Samsthan, Bengaluru. From the previous lecture of this series, we learned few aspects of chapter 15 from Lakshmi Didi. Shri Krishna tells to Arjuna, concentrate on Amrit, not Amrit. Use our time to glorify our inner self with Tyaga and Seva. Krishna also portrays the entire universe as the Ashwatha or the people tree with root above and branches below. The root is Brahman, God. The branches are the manifestations in the world. And Shri Krishna urges us to cut apart this firmly rooted tree of the material world, samsara, with the weapon of detachment. Shri Krishna illustrates the nature of Brahman and how it pervades the manifested world, and Brahman is self-radiant and is not illuminated by sun, moon, or fire. Shri Krishna says, I am beyond the transient world and above the eternal foundation. I am celebrated in the world and in the Vedas as Purushottama, the supreme being. So this is the summary of the last lecture. With this, Didi, I welcome you to the next lecture series of this 17th lecture. Thank you, Dhanyavad Didi, for your time. Welcome you for this lecture again.
Brahmacharya Vradi Dandi Sarva Vedanta Pandita Srimad Viveka Yogi Mam Prachodayatu Sarvada Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangham Lankhayate Girim Yakravatamaham Vande Paramananda Madhavam. Namaste to all of you for the great patience we are having in listening to this series without fail. We are on the 16th step. As we look upwards, we can already see that glorious pinnacle of Bhagavad Gita, Moksha Sannyasa Yoga. Sri Krishna has almost completed his talk and Arjuna is ready to fight. So we are also fighting our way up like this. 17th lecture, 16th chapter. When Swamiji was walking along the streets in Chicago, some people were making fun of him for his dress, for his headgear. Probably they thought he doesn't know English. Swamiji suddenly accosted them and said, I never knew in your country it is the dress that makes a man. In our country, it is the character that makes a man. And he walked on. Swami Chinmayandaji Maharaj used to refer to Bhagavad Gita as the manual for self-unfoldment, man-making, and so on. So in this man-making process, what is the most important feature? Is it the dress we wear, or the makeup which we have, or the scholarship we exhibit? Sri Krishna had been very, very vociferous about it. Whenever he gets a chance, he added his statement of a good character. It started from second chapter, Sthita Prajna. Then in 12th, when he is talking about Bhakta, then again talking about how you can acquire knowledge. Knowledge will automatically descend unto you if you have a pure character, purity of character. And again, we found how Sattva, Rajas, Tamas, the three main ingredients with which Mother Nature plays in her creation, how we are all mixture, or we can say compound, not mixture probably, say compound is a better word, of these three in various proportions. And that is why we find such a multiplicity, variety of people and beings in the universe. Krishna was not satisfied. So he again emphasizes in the 16th chapter on the Devasura Sambad Vibhaga Yoga. So character building is the most essential part of our life. When character is lost, everything is lost. We can make money, we can make a position, everything we can remake, but once character is lost, we lose everything. We lose our standing in life. So character is very, very important. And to Arjuna, keeping Arjuna in front, is talking to the entire humanity to be careful about the character. And very often, we talk of character very loosely. The character played by so-and-so in Hamlet, the character which Shakespeare has portrayed. Like that, we are a little bit careless in talking about character. But in Bhagavad Gita, it is not so. Character is a very core of our being, because unless character is pure, the passage of knowledge flowing into us get blocked. These days we are very familiar with the word block, angiogram, angioplasty, how blocks occur. You are very familiar with it. But we never pause to think why the divine knowledge does not flow into us automatically. That is because there are blockades. And these blockades can be removed not by an ordinary search. When Arjuna was standing in front of him, discussing about the various aspects of his mental difficulties, perplexities, Krishna could detect wherever there is blockade in his thinking. And he went on correcting. We have repeatedly seen the Karma Yoga, his misunderstandings about karma, and in Jnana Yoga, misunderstandings about jnana, then how he could be expanded to conceive of the totality of the existence in the 15th chapter most beautifully. All that we have seen, we have heard, but have we practiced it? Have we absorbed it into our being? That is the question. So Sattva Rajastama was a very good attempt on the part of Krishna to make us choose our daily activities based on Sattva, so that slowly, without our knowing, our character will become blossoming, start blossoming. So after initiating that discussion, Krishna is not yet happy. So in this particular Devasura Sambad Vibhaga Yoga, Sri Krishna is once again placing before Arjuna those important traits in the character which makes a man with capital M, as Swamiji will say, with a man with capital M. Such a person will stand tall in the society. The father of our nation was a small person, but he stood tall in our society. So many characters are there in our Puranas, Idihasas, and recent history who stood tall in the society, not because they have power or position or beauty or grandeur, nothing, for the character which they personified. So this is a point which parents should stress in the bringing up of their children by telling them stories, various aspects of their life, their behavior. This should be conveyed to them. As Swamiji told at Chicago, it is not the dress that makes a person, it is a character that makes a person. How good, how pure, how noble is your character. So Krishna starts pointing out here, Arjuna, there are two different types of people, Devik and Asurik. From time immemorial, we have been portraying these characters in people as Devik, those who are having noble qualities, and those who are indifferent to their character. Based on selfishness, they live, everything is self-oriented. On the other side, it is unselfishness. So he takes up Devasura Sambad Vibhaga Yoga. As we read this, it becomes very easy for us to portray in all these characters which we are going to enumerate, some 26, I think. I found it is very easy to pinpoint them on one person, the Hiranyakashipu. If you can picture Hiranyakashipu, because we cannot picture Ravana. Ravana had so many good qualities. But Hiranyakashipu is a person in whom we can hardly find any single one good quality. So when I was writing this, thinking about it, meditating upon it, again and again into my mind came the character of Hiranyakashipu. So when we say Devik, we know we can think of Prahlada, and Asurik, we can think of Hiranyakashipu. And of course, in each one of us, there is a Hiranyakashipu, there is a Prahlada. That is a different story. Now Krishna tells, try to develop these qualities. So people may ask, what exactly do you mean by developing these qualities? How we can become good? So a good example I thought was Ayurveda. You take the medical practice of Ayurveda. What is how Ayurveda differs from allopathy? Allopathy treats the symptoms mostly. Only now they have developed techniques to go deeper to the roots of the cause. But in Ayurveda, they are not much bothered about the symptoms. Symptoms are only pointers to greater deficiencies in the system. So Ayurveda takes up the treatment from the root. As we were telling in the other class, no? Roots, from the root. Vata, Pitta, Kapha. The increase or decrease of one or the other has led to this, led to that, this, that, and slowly, slowly they will correct the proportion of Vata, Pitta, Kapha, and simultaneously Sattva, Rajas, Tamas will also be kept in an equilibrium, and slowly, slowly the body recaptures the health. In the same way, what is important in learning about these characteristics is, without much effort, we can rectify ourselves. Our innermost mistakes, misunderstandings, ignorance can be corrected. Just as you stand in front of a mirror, my hairdo is not all right, my makeup is not all right. In the same way, the world is a mirror. When we stand before the world mirror, sometimes the world doesn't like, world insults you. World doesn't recognize your worth. You are unhappy with the world. World means the people around you. Vishwam darpana drishyamana nagari. That is how Shankaracharya beautifully describes. The world is a mirror where you can correct not your makeup, but your character. So when we say character, there are two aspects in it. One, correction at the internal level. Second, correction in our interactions with the world outside. So we will find all of them getting repeated in Sri Krishna's discourses. Whenever he gets a chance, how he impresses upon us the importance of character and what are the qualities which we should develop, what are the points which we should eliminate. He is very, very eager in correcting the mistakes in our character. So Devasura Sambad Vibhaga Yoga, calling the good qualities as Devik and calling the bad qualities as Asurik, so that immediately our mind will go to the stories about Devas, stories about Asuras. We will be able to understand the meaning and the possibilities hidden in this and that. So Devasura Sambad Vibhavaya, we are already on the 16th. When we finish this, and if our makeup is all right, then the next class we go to a deeper level of character building, that is Shraddha, the quality which we have lost in India. Anyway, we come to that in the next class. So here, they stress on the characters. How does he start? The very first point Krishna takes up is Abhayam Sattva Samshuddhir Jnana Yoga Vyavastiti Dhanam Damascha Yajnascha Swadhyaya Stapa Arjavam. No mistake at all. Abhayam. Abhayam, not the refuge in that meaning, but here abhayam, that is absence of fear, fearlessness. Where is why is it so important? Because bhaya originates from darkness. When we are little children, we are afraid to go into a dark room. So mommy will come and put on the light, and then we are happy. So bhaya is due to darkness. But in a sadhaka, this bhaya comes out of ignorance of the truth. So when ignorance of truth is there, there exists fear. Where knowledge is there, there is fearlessness. So those following the path of dharma, we must cultivate abhaya, nirbhaya. One has to be. And in the last class, if you remember, Swamiji was going through a gully in Varanasi, and some monkeys were coming towards him, and some sage shouted, "Face the brute." And that, Swamiji says, taught him a great lesson. So when we are correct in our estimation of the situations and people, and our mind is full of love for the whole of this universe, then there is no need for bhaya. I think in that connection only I repeated the story of Ma Sharadamba. When she was passing through a forest, a dacoit came across and she called him father. "I am your daughter Sharada. Please take me across to the town." And he was thrilled when Sharada called him father and took care of. So there are many instances like that. Sri Ramakrishna used to say, when a small child is sleeping or lying awake in a room, even a dacoit or a murderer comes there, he or she is not bothered because in her mind, there is no darkness, no fear. He or she, the child, recognizes the whole universe as her own. It is a universal tiny little thought which is there in the room. So there is no untoward thoughts or fear. So Sri Krishna starts from abhaya. Develop that. How can we develop? Following the path of dharma. Dharmo rakshati rakshita. When you are in the path of dharma, there is nothing for you to be afraid of. So we have to ponder deeply on the word dharma and acquire from dharma the quality of abhaya. Then he says, sattva samshuddhi, in a sense, purity of mind and thought and action, enthusiastic about elevating activities. These are all congenial in developing sattva samshuddhi. We can go back to our knowledge of sattvic, sattva in the Pragati's pocket. We can take the sattva and imprint that sattva in thoughts, words, and deeds. So sattva samshuddhi. Sattva recognizes the self within as a self everywhere. So no mistake is there. When I consider a person opposite to me who has come to ask me something for a favor or something like that, I see my own Atma reflected in him because there is pure sattva within me and I recognize the sattva. So sattva samshuddhi, in essence, purity in thought and action, All that will come under Sattva Samshuddhi. Then he says, Jnana Yoga Vyavasthiti. How can you follow these things? For that, you will have to develop a yearning for knowledge. If you want all the time to watch the TV or see the serials and this thing, no. 3-4 hours a day will be spent on study of the scriptures, pondering over them, thinking about them will make those principles get into our inner being. So all that is very essential. So jnana, yoga, vyavasthiti. Accumulation of yoga, jnana itself as a yoga. Yoga means acquiring it unto yourself. So this knowledge which you are finding in the scriptural text, there are any number of scriptural, by Bhagavad Gita alone is enough for us to develop jnana, yoga, vyavasthiti. Then 3 qualities, dana, dhamma, yajna. We know the 3 human activities which will take us forward and onward towards divinity. In dana, all selfish motivations are removed. You find it's a pleasure. I am happy that I am the nimitta to help you in this particular situation. It is as though God has ordained me to come to your rescue. So in that way, dana should take the all selfishness from us, and we will make it as a offer to the divinity. So dana should be elevated not for name or fame. Dana is because it gives me pleasure to be of service to God, and I see God in so and so. So I am coming. So that is why in certain communities, I think they make it compulsory. 10% of the earnings should go for dana. So only we Hindus are lacking in this, in spite of having this sort of character factor attached to dana, still we are negligent about it. Then similarly, dhamma is control of our indriyas, internally and externally. And yajna. Yajna has wide connotation. I always feel yajna is one concept India has contributed for the welfare of the world. Just like dhyana, satya, dharma, yajna is one of the pillars. It should become one of the pillars of our life. Yajna has wide connotations. Worship of God can be yajna. Then Panchamaha yajnas, of which we were talking, Brahma yajna, Pidri yajna, Bhura yajna, and so on. And we should make yajna part of our life activities, day-to-day activities. Then Swadhyaya and Tapa, observing, studying the scriptures again, and Tapas. You know, our rishis have made it so very beautifully. Observe Shashti Vrata for mothers, observe Ekadashi, observe Dwadashi, observe Paurnami, you know. In such a beautiful way, they have incorporated into the daily life of a Hindu this particular spirit of yajna, because yajna has got a lot of energy in it. When you do a yajna, lot of spiritual energy is generated within you. Observe Ekadashi, or you observe any other vrata, or observe a particular day's upavasa. Lot of spiritual energy is generated within. So it is very important. Then Arjava, he observes Arjava as one of the qualities to work internally and externally without the error of parallax. When we are in the first, when we go to the, I remember physics laboratory, we go, the teachers teach us, to take the values, to observe the error of parallax and how to adjust it so that the reading comes correctly. It is something which I think all of us would remember. So without an error of parallax, look at the worlds. What is the error of parallax we are bringing into it? I, my, you, yours. That is a great error which is Bhagavad Gita started. Mamaga Pandavaschaiva Kimakurvada Sanjaya. So remove that error of parallax. When you remove the error of parallax, then the whole world is your own. Vasudhaiva Kudumbakam. That sort of a capacity to work without error of parallax. This is something, which we have to make it a practice. Sometime I think I mentioned it. In many rich households, the food they prepare for the members of the family is different from the food they prepare for the members of the serving community who serve them. For them, this will be 100 rupees basmati rice. There it will be ration rice. This is very, very common in many houses. And I am told by somebody, when a daughter-in-law comes to the new house, she has to ask her mother-in-law, can I put some sugar in my tea? Am I permitted to take some sugar? I mean, olden days, not these days. These days, daughters-in-law will keep the mothers-in-law in a place and do their own. I believe it. There was such a thing. So one day I was talking to somebody. You are permitting everybody to go into your kitchen. I said, yes, they will go to the kitchen and make whatever they. When we got married and came to our house, we had to ask our mother-in-law for everything. Can I take some ghee today? Can I take some this, that? So this sort of an error of parallax. It came to my mind suddenly, this error of parallax, it spoils our life. I, mine, that is different. You, yours, different. So remove the error of parallax. That is arjavam. So the question arises in the modern mind, what will happen? So this is what will happen. They will go to when you develop these characters, they go to the innermost root of our being and start making the corrections there. So that is very, very important. Then Sri Krishna proceeds with the narration of qualities at the mental level. Many of them we have already come across in our earlier lectures. Ahimsa, we know ahimsa. Everybody in India is very familiar with the word ahimsa. We had the Sri Buddha, then we had Mahatma Ji, and ahimsa is supposed to be one of the qualities of the Buddhism even today. So ahimsa. Then akrodha, never to get angry. What happens when the mental vibrations assume the form of anger? Detect them at the root level itself and destroy them. Otherwise, like a small bit of fire falling on some dry leaf may take the whole forest, destroy the whole forest. So never give a chance. So as soon as this krodha point enters your mind, immediately take the pain to remove that totally. Then comes another word, apaishunam. The women are the people who are always associated with this paradushana, gossiping, finding fault with the neighbors, peeping into their houses and seeing what they are doing and what they are not doing. Our house is always perfect. What the others are doing. So, apaishanam is a quality we must absorb at any cost. Stop gossiping, especially if it will lead to others' misery and unhappiness. So you can talk good about the others. Oh, my neighbor, wonderful persons they are. Apaisunam, never to gossip. We waste a lot of time in gossiping. So stop it altogether. In this connection, I remember Paramacharya's words. He used to speak only very minimum words, Of course, Ramana Maharshi never used to speak at all, hardly any. Paramacharya will say, before you speak, you just pause and think, what I am going to speak, will it do any good for me? Think. What I am going to speak, will it do good to the person who is listening to it? What I am going to speak, will it help the world around me? So from these 3 points, you check it and then speak. If it is good for the world, it will bring happiness, it will add to the knowledge, it will improve the conditions of somebody, then speak. Otherwise, our words are of no value at all. We should understand that. Especially when you are old, you should speak only minimum, because nobody is eager to listen to your advices or guidance. We must understand this and keep quiet. Abhayashunam. Then Bhutadaya, capacity to view with equanimity the defects and imperfections in persons and situations and accept them as part of the divine play. Because that is why Sri Krishna has earlier mentioned, Sattva Rajas Tamas. If you have understood Sattva Rajas Tamas, every situation, here Sattva is dominant, here Rajas is dominant, here Tamas is dominant. That is why this situation has developed like this. So what we can do, we will be able to give the correct medicine there. So Bhutadaya. So that will help in mental purification. Aloluptam, lack of greediness, with sense control, with desires getting eliminated, greediness also disappears. To remove the greediness, when I see something where, I wish I had that. I wish I had got that lottery. I wish I was getting that award. So remove all those things in your mind, because God is there watching over us, giving whatever we want. Yoga Kshemam Mahamyaham. So many cards He has already given it, In some of these chapters, we are not getting any credit card from Him, but He has already given us so many. Name Bhakta Pranasyati, Nahi Kalyana Kritkaschid, Durgadim Tadagachadi. These are part of our Gita Japamala. Aloluptam, Mardavam. Softness of demeanor is the outward expression of the maturing human mind. It is a fragrance of a mature personality. When somebody comes to you and talk nicely, Mardavam, very soft. Murdula Bhava. That is very important. Achapalam. Achapalam, these days it is not so very prevalent. Earlier, when there are some people when they sit, they will go on shaking their hand, shaking their feet, shaking the something or other. When I was in South Africa, in that Ramakrishna Mutt, there was a foreign sannyasini. So she used to tell me, from the class 1 onwards, they are severely trained to sit in one position and listen to the teacher. Never to move their body unnecessarily. This is very, very strict training, I believe. So I used to ask her, Mataji, how we are able to sit like this? And she said, we are trained from childhood like that. Achapalam, capacity to sit or stand steadily without unnecessary movements of legs, feet, hand, etc. Wasting the energy through such movements is a sign of mental weakness. After reading all this, when you go and sit in a meeting or somewhere, unnecessarily, our mind will focus on people who are shaking their hands, shaking their heads, and we feel like telling them to read Bhagavad Gita. Controlling this, we can gain control over many other weaknesses. Then comes a very beautiful expression. Sri Krishna uses a word, Tejas, Dambodharpobhimanasya, Krodha Parushymevacha, Ajnanancha Vijadasya, Partha Sambadamasari. I'm not going into each of these words. Bhagavad Gita is there with each one of you. Please go through. One word he uses there is Tejas. Tejakshama Dhridishaudam Adroho Nadimanita Bhavanti Sampadam Devi. I have taken up Tejas from that group. We are under the impression that by improving our external appearance, we can improve our personality. But this is not so. In one commentary I read, the origin of Tejas lies when first radiation from one's intellect. That we know very easily, when a person is handicapped, intellect is not working, immediately there is no Tejas on the face. So when there is intellect, then we will find radiation from one's intellect add to your Tejas. Then the light in the eyes, which are reflections of universal love in the heart. Or maybe Dhritarashtra lost his eyes, had no vision because he was so selfish-oriented. So the more and more you are universal in your approach, the light in your eyes add to your Tejas. Then there is a fragrance of peace. When you enter into a place or somebody comes, there is an aura of peace about that person. That is part of the Tejas. Then the shine that appears on one's face, that is again a blissful, because he has no complaint against the words, nothing to find fault. So there is always peace in the face. Similarly, the capacity to efficiently work, whatever may be the work, do it efficiently. Yoga karma sukhaushalam. Efficiently, without disturbing anybody, with a clean approach to the work. And of course, it has to be karma yoga if it has to be so beautiful. Then shaucham, dhriti, patience, capacity to face accusations and hurt from others. Dhriti, this is one of the internal energizing flow from within and is the resultant of a steady mind. It can remove the tiredness and over-anxiety from the sadhaka's mind. Dhriti. Kirtik. Dhriti is Devi's, Devi Sarva Bhuteshu. I think Dhriti comes there also. Shaucham, external, internal cleanliness, the habit of keeping oneself tidy. Adroham, almost like ahimsa. I think Swami Vivekananda in somewhere, let the whole world should not be afraid of me. Let no evil come from me to anyone in this world. Nadimanita, self-appreciation in front of others, it could be gotten enough. Half of the life's burden will be removed. Because when you go to some place, if they don't respect you, if they don't give you a chair, you're disturbed in the mind. Why? They don't know who I am. They have come here, I am so and so, and look, they're sitting there and not giving me a chair. They are not offering flowers to me, they have given to everybody. They have not put a garland on me, they have not mentioned me in their welcome speech. In so many ways, because we are thinking of ourselves, our importance of our own. So remove all that from your mind. Natimanita. So Sri Krishna has enumerated 26 gunas for us to use for introspection. As we have seen in the earlier discourses, acquiring these traits and qualities leads to consolidation of the spiritual energy within. These are classified as divine qualities, and acquiring them undoubtedly lead to a blessed life. On the opposite side are the asuri sampath or devilish traits which drag one down on the evolutionary scale. Divine qualities mark the man, as I said, who stands tall in the society. His potential divinity within assumes kinetic form. Some of us may have some potential divinity, but we don't know how to put it into a kinetic form. To make it into a kinetic form, Tyaga and Seva should be the method by which we can make our potential divinity into a kinetic divinity, which flows into the society, enriching it. Swamiji has hinted at this phenomenon through these meaningful words, be and make. When members of the family develops these qualities, the family turns into an amritha Parivar. To fill our society and the nation with such amritha Parivars is the call before the Hindus. It is the need of the hour. Let us remember that. It is the need of the hour. India is getting recognized all over the world for these basic qualities which are there in our cultural, spiritual heritage. In this chapter, it is also interesting in one place, Krishna becomes sort of speaking about the asuric qualities. He lets go his temper and says, I push these asatyam apradishtante jagadahuranishwaram paraspara sampodam himanyat kamahetukam. Then he says, Asha pashasadir baddha kama krodhaparayana ihande kama bhogartham anyayena artha sanjaya. They gone accumulating wealth for their own happiness. Idamadhyamayalada. So very beautiful, simple stanzas, very easily understandable. Then Natimanida, in that context, he's saying, Adhyo Vijayavanosmi, Konyosti Sadrisho Maya, Yakshi Dasyami Modishye, Ityajnana Vimohita. I am a noble person. Why they are not recognizing me? All this are there. So Sri Krishna says, these are all the qualities coming out of Ahangaram, Balam, Darpam, Kama, Krodham. These are and such people, Sri Krishna in a fit of anger sort of, he says, Tanaham dvishadakruran samsareshu naradhaman kripam yajasrama shubhan asurishve vayonishu asurim yonimabhanna mudha janmani mam aprapyeva kaunteya tadoyan jathamam gadim. The evolutionary status, they fall down miserably. Trividham naragasyedham dvaram nasanamatmana kama krodhastatha lobhas tasmad edatrayam tyajet. These are the three things. They are the three doors opening into the Naraka. Naraka doesn't mean the city of Yemen or something like that. Creating a lot of unhappiness and misery in our life. So remove these three: kama, krodha, lobha. If we are able to remove this, we will be able to live a blissful life. But where will we get all this information? Because there is Gita now. What about the other? How can we tell? Suppose nobody is getting a Gita. What shall we tell? Tasmat Shastram Pramanam Te. From where will you get? Not from the universities, yours from the schools, those from the academies, nothing. Tasmat Shastram Pramanam Te Karya Vyavasthido Yajnatva Shastra Vidhanoktam Karma Kartumiharhasi. Go into the root, Krishna says. Go into the Shastras, not the literature with which we are playing about. Go to the very roots of this, the knowledge, and then you will find what are the good qualities which should develop, what are the qualities which will take you higher up in the evolution. We are very fortunate. Some of us could, without any break, take these 15 steps and come on to the 16th step. In the 6th chapter, We were very much tempted to go back. When Krishna says, Suddharet Atmanatmanam, and in the mirror we saw ourselves, many of us, we thought we'll go back. But still we continued, and by His grace, today we understood. When I become an Asura, yes, sometimes in the day, when I immediately wake up from my afternoon sleep, somebody wakes me up, I become an Asura, isn't it? So some of us, this chapter, if you go on remembering, automatically we'll be able to remove some of the asuric qualities. And tasmat shastram pramanam tre. That is why Sri Krishna said, Swadhyaya. It is very, very essential. So this chapter, the 16th one, from here we are already seeing that Everest onto which Sri Krishna is taking us step by step, not by adding to our luggage, but asking us to remove our luggage, not only from our at bodily level, but from the mental and intellectual level, so that we are very, very light. He will be able to carry us through 17 to 18. 2 more classes. Wonderful. We had been blessed by Sri Krishna. I feel so blessed that I was able to contemplate and read and think about Gita and connect it with some incidents here and there. I feel very, very blessed. Thanks to all of you who insisted on listening to this once again. Namaskar to all of you.
Namaste, Amma. That was very well summarized, the essence of the 16th chapter and how the 3 gates of hell, Kama, Krodha, and Lobha, how we can avoid that and get to the path of being peaceful and